Helen here with Eyes on the Game, and I'm here at JacksonWInk MMA gym here with Brandon Six Gun Gibson. First off, congratulations on the win with Cowboy Cerrone, his second welterweight fight, and it was probably his most impressive yet.
Yeah, I think Cowboy looked really good. We went out there. He started fast, which was a big part of the game plan for us. And he went up against a very tough vet that had fought for light heavyweight title and middleweight title. Patrick Cote was a big challenge for us, and Cowboy performed, I think, to his best performance yet.
Definitely, and I mean, his striking looked sharp. It looked like it improved so much, to get the third round TKO against a tough Patrick Cote in his hometown, which he's only lost, aside from this past weekend, just one other time in Canada. So how sweet was this victory, not only for you, but your team and for Donald?
It was a big victory for us. Cowboy's one of the cornerstones of this team. He's a leader to all these young guys that walk through these doors, and he really does put in a lot of work and represent the JacksonWInk gym to the fullest. So it was cool to go into Canada, and I felt by the end of the fight we had kind of won that crowd over. Cowboy's such a fan favorite. I think his persona just draws attention wherever we go.
And was that your first time working with Cowboy, like through a full camp for his fight?
The first time I worked with him was a little bit for the Dos Anjos title fight, real early, kind of a pre-camp, and then the last fight against Cowboy Olivieri was our first real camp together, so now we're on number 2, I would say.
And would you rather have him stay in the welterweight division? I know he said he's, up to do both, and he's now ranked in both number 4 in the UFC lightweight and number 14 in the UFC welterweight. But for you as his coach, what would you like to see him stay at?
He looked really good at welterweight. I think there's this could be a new chapter in his career, and I mean, if he fought the way he did on Saturday night on his next one, I could see him being a welterweight champion one day. But I know Cowboy, he's at anyone, anywhere, anytime kind of guy. So if he gets an intriguing matchup at 55, maybe against McGregor or a Dos Anjos rematch or Khabib, I wouldn't mind seeing him go back down. So we'll just have to see what the cards come.
And in the welterweight division, who would you like to see him fight next?
Same thing. I think welterweight's wide open for him. I think he matches up really good against a lot of the guys. So it'll just be interesting to see what the UFC offers. But Cowboy right now with his wrestling, with his striking and his jiu-jitsu, I think he's going to be a real contender. And
is it true that he is prepping for a potential UFC 200 if someone drops out and they need to call him?
We're always training. So since we got back from Canada, we've already been back to work. He's just going to stay ready and be ready. And if something opens up on 200, I'm sure that he'll tell the UFC that he knows a guy.
Definitely. And speaking of UFC 200, the big card, it's just right around the corner, and headlined by Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Number 2, I know in the past we spoke a bit about this topic, but recently I know Mike Winklejohn talked to MMA Junkie about Jon's fight with Cormier and how it may be a bit easier than his fight against St. Preux. What are your thoughts on that?
Cormier's one of the best in the world. His only loss is to Jon Jones. But with that said, I think that we have a blueprint established from this first fight that went 5 rounds, and this is Jon Jones' first rematch. So I'm excited to see, what we could build off this blueprint. We prepped for DC for a long time before 197, and now here it is at 200. So I'm very, very excited for Jon to perform at July 9th.
And which changes, or if any changes, have you been making with Jon in this camp as opposed to his last fight with DC?
That's pretty top secret info, but we have made some adjustments. I'm looking for Jon to finish in this fight. I don't think it's going to go to the judges on this one. I think we're going to find our finish, make our finish.
And if you had to predict which round, what would you say?
I could see it going later. DC's tough. He's durable. I could see Jon just weathering him down and bringing just a ferocious storm with him. So maybe one of the later rounds.
And I kind of want to circle back into talking about UFC welterweights and obviously Donald Cerrone, but someone else that you work with, Carlos Condit. I did see on Instagram that he's been making his way back in the gym. Will we be seeing him fight anytime soon?
You know, I think there's a lot of opportunity for Carlos. If he chooses to maybe be done with his career, that's an option too. But Carlos is going to be a lifelong martial artist no matter what. We've been friends for a very long time, and I see us hitting mitts when we're 60 years old just to have fun. And so that's kind of just been the take we've been playing on it right now. Just come in, hit mitts, have fun, get better. But I think if he gets a matchup that intrigues him, he'll definitely come back in and get into camp.
Has he been enjoying his time off?
You know, he has a lot of family stuff going on right now, but it's all super positive, and I know he's been enjoying his time off.
Awesome. And lastly for you, Brandon, I know you're very busy, but I do happen to have your new book. Congratulations, How to Bang. So can you tell the audience a bit more about this book and also where they can get it?
You know, I partnered up with Craig Bongili. He's one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in Canada. He works with a lot of top-level athletes. And he came down here to Albuquerque, worked with our team a little bit. I really liked what he was doing, and it takes a great approach at the strength and conditioning segment on how to really develop that knockout power. So I put in a little bit of my expertise, you know, from a technical side, and I think matched with Craig's strength and conditioning background, there's some cool knowledge in there for fighters of all levels to access.
And I did hear it's been selling quick. So where can they purchase this book?
I know it's available on Amazon. I have a link on my Instagram page for it, and Craig Bongili from Lil's Gym also has a bunch of the links up as well.
And also, speaking of links and social media, where can the audience and the viewers follow you on social media?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Six Gun Gibson.